Good morning. Hope you're well. It's the 22nd of December, so we're only a couple of days out from Christmas. So I hope you're all having a wind down and having a break. So in today's video, I just wanted to talk a little bit about sales copy and human nature. So to connect, and to write copy that's effective, that's going to connect and do its job, you really need to understand, a bit about human nature and psychology and stuff like that, because ultimately what your words are doing, what your written words are doing, is taking the place of, what would work better in a face-to-face or over the phone conversation. And obviously having those calls can be part of your process, but if you have good copy, it can really do that job for you. And so when you bear in mind that ultimately as humans we want we want problems to be solved for us, so we're kind of less concerned about how that can happen. This is not really about the solution as such. It's just about how's it going to fix whatever the problem is that I've got right now, which is why the whole features benefits thing is so important. That too many coaches focus on the solution, on what it is they specifically do. And while I'm not saying it's not important, as humans, what we're more interested in is how is this solution going to help me? How's it going to solve my problem? Another thing to bear in mind is that everyone hates to feel like they've been ripped off. We've all been there. It happened, and I've certainly can think of a couple of instances where I've signed up to something and felt that I didn't get value for my money, and it really stays. I need to just let it go, but it's hard to, because you just feel it makes you feel a bit silly or naive. There's lots of negative feelings that come up around it, and so you don't want to. You're right. Sorry, the dog's choking on some bark. He's all right. You don't want to make people in your audience feel like that. So, you've got to really make sure that what you say you're going to deliver is what you're delivering. And that this is a problem I've got with templates and stuff that people use, is that it's just this formula and you plug stuff in, and it might be a really, really good template, and it might really do a good job and be very persuasive. And then somebody signs up and actually it's the way you've written about it isn't what it is that you do. So, you've got to you've got to stay aware of the power of your words and making sure that everything is aligned properly. And that's why it's so important to understand not only what you do, but what your audience needs from you. And so, it's just getting all those pieces in place, and it sounds complicated, but it's not really. It's an exercise in kind of stripping a lot of stuff away, actually, for most people, myself included, because you've got to kind of take yourself out of it as much as you can, and really think about, okay, I'm one person. What can I do? What can I really do? How can I really help? And who can I really help? And that's going to narrow stuff down a lot. And then it's about focusing your solution on those problems, and then writing your copy to explain it in a way that makes sure you're connecting with the people that it makes the most sense to and who are going to get value from what you do. So, coming back to human nature, no one wants to feel like they've been ripped off. So you've got to be very careful to, if your copy is working, to make sure that it's talking to the right people and painting a true picture of what what your solution is and what they can expect, because the damage to your brand reputation is a big problem. So you want to make sure that that isn't something that happens. And, just bear in mind that people love buying stuff, we do. We want to believe that the thing we're reading is the solution to the problem. And so if you're genuinely connecting, you've got the thing and it's exactly, you know who it's for and how you can help them. Once you get those pieces right, the people who it's right for are going to want to sign up, because we want to believe that these promises are true, and if they are, that's amazing. And so sort of just bearing those things in mind when you're writing your copy, just always keep the person, the reader, front of your mind, and try and forget less about what it is that you think and what you know. And the more you do that, the more connected you're going to get with your audience, and the more effective your copy is going to be, and the stronger your programs will be as well, because it all feeds into each other. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to head back, and hope you're having a great pre-Christmas week. Morning, I don't know who that is, but hi. And I'll be back tomorrow, and then I'll see you next week after the Christmas madness. Okay, bye.